Hey everybody, welcome back to Plum Figgy. This is Tammy. Alright, so I'm catching up on my Junk Journal July. I'm a little bit late. First one is going to be Happy Mail. And so I decided that since the most recent Happy Mail that made me happy that I received was my Junk Journal July box. So not that. That's not even a thing. My, your creative studio box is what I meant to say for July. So I just decided to go ahead and collage a few pages using the bits and pieces that I got in that box. So I guess if you've been waiting for me to do this in one of my journals, well, here you go. So I actually have quite a few extra pages left in this journal, even though it's getting mighty chunky. It's really getting chunky. I'm not going to be able to fill the entire thing with, stuff in July. I may continue working in it. I'm not sure. It's awfully chunky. What I should be doing is writing in it along the way, but I haven't been doing that just because I just don't feel like I've had the time necessarily. But I do think I want to go back and do some writing in it after the fact. So I guess in August, maybe, and just kind of reminiscing about what I did during the month in these prompts. So yeah, I guess I'm just gonna make up my own rules for the whole thing. But hey, you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes, right? So, um, this page actually, I felt like I was kind of struggling with it a little bit here. It's awfully busy feeling, and I think that paper on the right hand side with all the leaves. I don't know what I'm doing right now. Obviously something away from the desk. Just the whole thing was feeling awfully busy. And then I went to go get some more the rest of my Your Creative Studio boxes. I have most of them all compiled in this photo box, and then I need to do the last month and this current month. I need to get into there too, but I felt like there wasn't really a great focal point in the current box. For some reason I felt that way, but in the end I ended up using the stickers that came in the box from this month as my focal point, so I don't know what I was thinking about, but pulled out a few different labels, stickers from last month's box, and just kind of prepping them. I'm not going to use all of them, but just there's this white border that I had to get rid of, so just getting those ready, and then I'm going to ink around the edges of those too, just to make them look a little bit more vintage. So yeah, the last 2 weeks I just haven't been up in my craft room every day after work, or when I'm working from home. Sometimes I'll go up there and do some work over lunch or whatever. I haven't been doing that in the last 2 weeks. Actually, I did take a couple of nights off this last week, and I think I kind of needed it. I've been feeling a little bit, I want to say stressed. I can't figure out what I want to do as easily. So that usually means I'm kind of on a little bit of a burnout time, and it's time for me to kind of take a step away for a minute and kind of rest my brain a little bit. I think I should have known this was going to happen. I mean, geez. Junk Journal July is every day, right? There's a prompt every day of the month. And, of course, I can never do anything super simple. It's always got to be something that takes longer than I expect it to. And then on top of that, I've got, all these other things I've got going on in my life, and um, work, and working on that journal that I'll be finishing up very soon. Actually, it's by the time you see this, it should be done, or very nearly done. So, yeah, I should have known better than to try and do this, but I have been really enjoying it a lot. I don't know what is going on with the camera right here. Okay, sorry, I have no idea what happened there. I think it might be done doing that now. So, really, really like how that left side turned out. The little Tim Holtz thing says every summer has a story. And just, yeah, just turned out really cute, and I really liked it. And so off to the right, I decided let's just add some room for some writing. Added a sticker with a little clip on the top, and then some of that washi tape that came in the box. And yeah, so here's how this one turned out. I really like that page. And then I had this fun idea to paste down just a bunch of different tea-dyed papers, and then use these stamps, the stamp set, to make like little writing spots, like little post-it note kind of things, on top of all of there. And again, I just really like how this page turned out. It's really cool. I definitely want to do this again. And for any of you who also got the Your Creative Studio box, totally do this because it's so cute. I really, really like how it turned out. So in the little stamp set, there's the binder clips, and then these are little push pins, and then there's one that's a little paper clip by itself too. So yeah, really like it. Really cute. No idea what I'm going to write in there. But hey, I can figure that out another time. So continuing on, this is still that same prompt, the Happy Mail prompt, and just, yeah, trying to cover up some more pages in my journal here, and this time using the collage papers that were in the kit to kind of cover some of that rusty brown background paper, and at this point now I'm just trying to figure out, because I kind of felt like I needed to use some more of these stickers. They were very specific stickers. There's like bicycles or cars. And then randomly that pretty girl. There's two of those. So in the end I found 3 old-timey bicycles, and then that little sign at the top left that says antique bicycles. And so I just placed those 3 onto the page and called that good then for this page. And yeah, in the end I really do like how this one turned out too. It's kind of fun, kind of different, unexpected. Get me out of my comfort zone a little bit. I was trying to use that post-it note, and it didn't look good. So I went back to this notepad and picked another. I think there were 3 designs in this notepad, and I've used all 3 now. And there's another piece of that vellum paper. So really like that. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what I even did. I think I kept this one pretty simple. Really, I just wanted to kind of cover the page up with some scratch paper and bits and pieces from the box. So that's actually what I ended up doing. Yeah, I just found some bits of extra papers like usual, some tea-dyed papers, and stuck those down. And then here I was trying to use some more labels, but in the end I just decided to keep it the way that it was. And actually I can write on this page really easily, so I'll probably end up doing that. And then I think this is the last one for the Happy Mail prompt. Went back to my box of previous months and just I found that piece of paper on the left side, and then I decided on the right hand side it would be kind of cool if I just put down one of the flowers, one of those clear flower stickers over the painted paper on the right side, and then that way again I could have some good writing space and kind of just write around the flower whenever I do decide to journal. So here I'm just pasting this down, and actually that page is so busy. I wasn't gonna do anything more with that. There's no reason to. And then just trying out a few different flowers, and decided that this one looked the nicest with the rest of the spreads. So it took me longer to get the backing paper off than it did to do anything else. But okay, so there we go for the Happy Mail prompt. Yep, I really like how this one turned out. It's very simple, but at the same time it's really pretty. Okay, so day 20, collage cluster. So for this one, I decided that I should probably go back to this shoebox full of ephemera that's more modern that I really don't use often enough, and see what I can find to use in there. And my intent was to use one of those ephemera packs to make a collage cluster. But then I found this package of Project Life cards that I've always loved. Oh, here we go with Oliver. He was feeling needy again. I've always loved this package of Project Life cards, but I could never figure out where to use them. But I just love the colors, and I always thought that there was just such awesome potential for them. So I decided to go ahead and figure out something to do with them for this prompt. So I was just kind of sorting through, picking different colors and cards that I thought I would use. And here now I'm just fussy cutting out this one, and then I'll fussy cut out another bouquet. And then I'm going to start collaging around the cat's tail. He's so helpful. It's so funny. I don't know how he knows when I'm working on my personal stuff and when I'm working on something that I'm preparing to sell, because he never does this when I'm working on something I'm getting ready to sell. It's just, or at least if he does, it's not very often. I'm trying to remember when the last time was. It's so funny. He's so smart. Such a smart kitty, but yeah, he's been feeling kind of needy lately. That's for sure. So, yeah. So at this point, I'm trying to figure out what to do about bridging that gap in the middle, because obviously we're going to need to shut the journal. So in the end, I just decided, he's pushing against me. I just decided to fold it in half and stick the fold into the middle of the page. And then I didn't really love having the rounded corners on all of them, because the page itself has square corners. So I started cutting off the corners of most of them. Oh, holding kitty hands. And yep, now we got the butt again. So anyway, at this point, I'm just trying to pay attention to where the colors are on my page, because I want to get them evenly dispersed across the whole thing. And so that's kind of my goal at this point. So, I was really trying to find some more green, and the only green that I could find was more of that same flower I've got in the bottom left corner, or something that said month, and I didn't really want to have writing all over. So, yeah, you're gonna see me kind of struggle with that in a minute. But here I'm just, I'm trying to cover all the white space basically with colors and flowers. So, yeah, so up in the right corner there, I wanted to get some more green onto the right side of the page. But I guess I'm focusing on this for right now first, on the left side. I guess that's what stuck out to most to me as I was working on this, the green situation. Even though it's only like a couple seconds in the whole grand scheme, but yeah, it's funny how you remember things like that. So yeah, here I am I'm trying to find some more green. I'm looking through all the cards again, and also in the upper left corner trying to figure out if I can find some more orange for up there. So in the end, I just decided to focus on something different for a minute and cut out this little thing that says perfect, and then I decided to use just a circle of that part. And here I think I've decided, yeah, so I was looking at that and I just didn't like it. So, and in the end, I just cut up that other piece of that green one. And I like how it looks, actually. It's kind of perfect. It's the perfect amount of green. And then I just decided to do kind of the same thing with the orange in the upper left corner. So, cover up some of that, but that's okay. I love the pops of color. It's just really different, really interesting, I think. Okay, so now we're getting finally to my collage cluster. So I decided to take some bits and pieces of what I had already kind of ripped up or cut apart, and I turned that into a little cluster there. And so now I'm gonna glue that down, and then my focal point then is gonna be this bouquet that I fussy cut out earlier. I think the white in the background of it is helping it to stand out a little bit. And then I had this other one that I had fussy cut out, and it fit perfectly on top of this piece, covering all the words, but you could still see some of the yellow peeking through, which was exactly what I was hoping for. And then this one, that's a grid pattern, and then on top of that I just did the hello. And yeah, so really, I do really like this spread. It's very different for me, like I said, and it's very busy, but I think it's really interesting too. So here's a better look at it for you. Okay, so now I'm going to jump around in my days a little bit, and we're going to go to, what is it, number 20, textured. And so this one really came organically to me. The only thing that I really planned was this piece of cardboard, and actually I was trying to get more cardboard. Need more cowbell. I was trying to get more cardboard to use on this left side of the page of the spread, but it was being difficult, so I gave up on that and decided the one little piece of it that I had would do fine. And so this is some packing paper that's bumpy. Put some fabric down. Yeah, I was really just looking around me trying to find what I had available that had texture, honestly. And I just started piece by piece gluing stuff down, and in the end it really came out pretty cool. So this is some fabric from that junk journal I've been working on. So I just decided to go ahead and use some of that. And then we've got some twine here that I just kind of gathered together and then fussy made it a little messier. But had some sari silk in that gorgeous ochre yellow color, and so added a little bit more texture there, and then glued the twine bundle down. And then I found some of this, it's supposed to be like cheesecloth, knockoff, kind of a cheesecloth kind of thing, and some more trim that I had sewn with my sewing machine with a fancy stitch. And then I thought, well, let's get some white or something in there. And so I just tore up a bunch of pieces of that. And I was trying to figure out how to glue all those pieces down. And then I realized, no, just poke a hole in the middle. And I went and got a brad and stuck that down. And so this piece now that I'm putting down is more of that cardboard that I had originally torn apart. And actually I stuck the shiny side down, so the side that you would normally see on the outside of the cardboard, it's down. And so the side that is left then is just a little bit fuzzy. And so here I went to my paper scraps again. I was still trying to think about what to put down in that bottom right corner of the left side of the page. So I found this piece of watercolor scrap that I had done and wrapped that yarn around it, and now I'm just trying to see if it works, and it was just a little too big, so I put that aside and decided to focus now on the other page again. And I knew I wanted to use one of the horses that I had printed off. These were from copyright free, I think Pexels.com. Anyway, so I just decided to put that onto some of this white tissue paper, and then that little watercolor piece was really perfect on that side. It kind of brought everything over to the right side of the page just a little bit. And then I found a little piece of brown lace for that bottom, or the bottom right, and that was it. Okay, so next page we're gonna do negative space. And I decided I've got a lot of watercolor pages in this journal, so I decided to use one of the spreads of watercolor to do a fun technique. So I had done a little bit of research, I guess, on this because I was trying to figure out what to do for this prompt. And I had a couple of ideas, but then I thought, well, no, I want to use this watercolor. So I think I just searched watercolor negative space or something like that. And this is, I guess, a technique for watercolor artists out there. You probably know what I'm talking about. It's new to me, but I watched a couple of videos, a few different YouTubers who do watercolor, and see how they were doing it. And so based on that, this is my very first attempt at it, and I will tell you, it was so much fun. I felt so relaxed as I was doing this. It was a little tricky. I think you're gonna laugh at me, but my experience in one of my jobs while I was going to college, just out of high school, was I worked for the one of the dorms in my college during the summer as a painter. We painted the dorm rooms and just, the dorm itself, whatever needed to be painted. And I'll tell you what, the cutting in practice that I had from that job, I think has really helped me here. But anyway, so actually the process of this is fairly simple. I decided to do leaves. One YouTuber I watched, she just used circles, which I thought was a really cool idea too. I think I'm definitely going to try this again, or do more of this. I just thought it was really fun. So it's pretty forgiving. The one thing I don't know if it was my paper or if it was my method, but the end result, I wished that my darkest color was more solid color instead of it was a little patchy, and you could see bits of light coming through a little bit more. So I don't know. Yeah, like I say, I don't know if it was my paper that I used. Maybe I used the wrong side of the watercolor paper, because with this one, it's smoother on one side. Well, it's I think it's hot press that's smoother, and cold press is the bumpier. I feel like, if that's the right thing. And the other side of this is the slightly bumpier. But this is a pretty smooth watercolor paper anyway. Anyway, I don't know. But back to the technique. So you essentially do a wash over the whole thing, and then your first layer, you paint around your first little designs, and then dry it, and then draw some more designs. So I drew a few more leaves, and now I'm avoiding all the leaves and just filling in that negative space with a darker color. And so you can do this as many times as you want. I ended up doing it 3 times, because I felt like after the third set of leaves, I thought it was at a good place. So yeah, like I said, I definitely want to do more of this and get better at it. I for some reason had more pigment than on the right side of the page, so then it was, I think, a little splotchier looking there. And then the other thing is, you can see my paintbrush here is awfully large for this space. And so my materials, I have that big one, which has a really great point to it. I don't remember the size of it. And then the next size up I have is a size 8, which is kind of small actually. And so I need a couple in between and a round brush. That would help me out, I think, doing this the next time. But so yeah, and then I did make a mistake there. That leaf, I totally painted over the stem of it. So at this point, I'm trying to create a new stem that would basically branch over that and hopefully hide the fact that I totally cut off the stem. And I know you can't really see my drawing. It's pretty, and I even had a little hard of a time seeing everything, but when I start adding more paint, yeah. And then I didn't do it straight, and my drawing skills are not helping me out here very much. But chose a darker blue color. It's almost black in a way, which is kind of what I wanted. And yeah, so if you haven't tried this and you have some watercolors and are trying to think of new fun ways to use them, I highly suggest doing this. Like I said, you can use a circle, and the lady, she just had a little plastic cup and just used, the bottom of the cup and then the top of the cup to have 2 different sizes of circles, and it turned out really, really cool. You could do it with any kind of shape, really. I saw some, I didn't watch these, but they were of flowers, like daisies. That looked a little more complicated to me to try for the first time I'm doing it. But yeah, so here's my negative space page, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. It's very dynamic. I did add the date, even though you can't even see it. Okay, so back to day 21. We're going to do relax. And yet again, I have another watercolor page. So I decided to just do a nice wash of pretty colors. I don't know if you can really see it on the left side of this. Oh, no, I just covered it up. Well, I have a picture of a sunset on a beach with a hammock and some palm trees. And so that was my inspiration for this spread. And so I'm just trying to get some nice background there with the watercolor. This one's going to be pretty simple. I didn't really want to go overboard because, you know, we're supposed to relax today. So, um, Oliver's trying to get my attention and he's playing with all of his noisy toys right now. I don't know if you can hear him. So over on the left side, I thought, well, I kind of think I need something behind that. I just didn't want to paste it down straight onto the page. So I had this extra piece of that white thin tissue-ish kind of paper, which actually was the perfect height, and I thought it worked really well. So that's all I'm going to do over there, basically. And then I had some of this ephemera that I honestly never use, but I really think it's really cute. So I thought it was kind of perfect for this. So I just pulled out a bunch of things that I liked, and obviously I'm not going to use all of it, but yeah, just pulled out some things that I thought were cute. The heck yes is the one that stayed. Is that kind of is my personality, I guess. I did like the umbrella, but I liked the bird a little bit better, so we went with the bird instead. And then this flower, and I'm trying a few different things out, but in the end I just wanted to keep it simple and not cover up all of the watercolor. So yeah, I think I tried literally every piece almost, and in the end I just kept it with this. So now I'm just gonna stick this down, and that's gonna be it for this spread. So pretty simple, guys. So here I was trying to figure out how to attach that flower to the page. I didn't want glue to show through it because it's, you know, clear. So I just used a couple staples, and then I put some glue under the very middle of it, and that was it. And that was enough to hold on to it. So I had pulled this sticker set out thinking maybe I'd want to use one of those tabs, but in the end I decided no, because it would be the only tab that I'd used yet in this journal, and I just decided not to. Okay, so day 24. Yeah, skipping around. We're going to Sparkle next. And I had this piece. This is an art scrap that I had some extra paint left from a different project. And then I had bought some texture paste from, well, it's Prima Marketing. What's the name of it? Finnabair is the brand that Michaels was clearancing out of, and the name of it I think is something unicorn. So it was really fun and sparkly, and I just did it through one of my Tim Holtz stencils. So it's just dots and crosses is the design. So yeah, that was really quick. Sorry. So that is kind of my background on that page. And then I decided what else could I do that's sparkly, and I remembered I have some glitter from Christmas that I still haven't used again. And so this is from this is the Recollections brand. It's some glass glitter, and it's like antique silver or something as the color. I think I tried to show it, but you can't hardly even read the label in real time, much less in fast motion. So that's basically what it is. So I'm just loading up each of these hearts now with some glitter, and I'm going to set those off to the side to dry for a bit, and then I'm going to focus on the other side of the page. So back to this. Oh, and then I just placed those there temporarily as I was going to think a little bit more about what I wanted to do. And so then the other side of this page is more watercolor. So I went and got my handmade watercolor set, which is all glittery watercolor and sparkly. And so I just decided to do again another kind of a wash of different colors. But as you can see, the colors I was picking weren't really quite working with each other. So in the end, I found a purple color and kind of just, I kept everything as it was, but I added a lot more of this purple to kind of balance everything out. And so it's still pretty light though, which is kind of really what I liked. So it dried beautifully. And then I had found these stickers, again on clearance, I guess from Hobby Lobby is what the sticker looks like. So I decided to spell out, keep your minds out of the gutters, guys, shine brightly. So just gonna spell out shine brightly, and I put that smack dab in the middle of the page to let that shine on that side of the page. These are kind of, it's kind of hard to tell in the video, but they're kind of like a mirror, clear mirror kind of thing. They're really different, and they're not super dimensional, which was great because I don't know if you can tell, but my journal is getting fat. I had to change the wrap that I used around it because that piece of sari silk was not long enough anymore to tie a bow anymore. So for half of a second, I tried putting one of the hearts onto the left side and then doing two on the right, but I just didn't like that at all. So I went back to having the 3 hearts on the right side, and then I just kept the left side the simple shine brightly. It looks a little high school, I think, but it's kind of fun. And it's at this point that I realized my heat gun completely ruined that flower on the other side of the page. Oh, it was a disaster. So I just cut that off, and then I ended up having to cut off that, or tear off that left side of the heck yes. So I went back to the drawing board, and I needed now something that wasn't transparent because you didn't want to be able to see through and see that I had butchered that whole thing. So I wanted to try and keep with the flowers, and I did like these, but what I didn't like was the leaves that were sticking out. And in retrospect, I think now I could have just cut off the leaves. And I didn't like the leaves because the parrot, or parakeet, I think it's a parakeet, its tail was kind of in that same shape, and I just didn't want to have more of that necessarily. So I went with this super cute bathing suit, and then I stuck this other flower behind it. So I thought that ended up really cute. Okay, so there's my shine brightly. Did I add a date? Yes, I'm doing that now. It's out of order. Okay, so day number 25, photograph. This one's going to be a simple one. These are 2 different photos that I had taken at different times, but the color of blue was kind of the unifying factor here. And I wanted to keep it simple, but still wanted to do something. And so I had remembered I had these photo overlay things in my stash. And so I found one for the wide one right away, and then this one I literally looked through every single one of them to find something. And I wanted them to be different from each other enough. So I went with this one. Yeah, I was still trying a few more there, but I went with the other one. I kind of wish I would have went with this one instead with the black border, but that's all right. So this one's a very simple one, and I'm just removing the extra from the sides. It's gorgeous. I was just driving one day, and thankfully at a stop, I was able to take this picture out my car window. It's really pretty. So, really simple, just gluing that down, and then I grabbed my stapler and I stapled the frame over the top of it. And then again, really simple for this one, gluing that down. Yeah, I wish I would have done one of those and not done this one, but oh well, I like this one too. So I like the Polaroid idea of it, I guess. So put that one down. And then putting my date down, and I totally put the wrong date. So I ended up having to cover that and re-stamp it. So then I decided to take the rest of that piece of paper and add a little. I was going to add something on the bottom of the picture anyway about where I took the picture. And I was at the zoo with my aunt, and it was in the butterfly pavilion, which is where I took that. And then did another one for the other picture, and it just says God is great, and just pasted that down. I'm trying to pick up my journal. Yeah, and then you're gonna get to see my face and me looking at it and everything, so that's awesome. I'm looking at my phone just make sure it's centered. So guys, that's gonna do it for me today. Yeah, adding my new Sari Silk here. Hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.